from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Hi,
I'm Beth.
I'm Tim.
I'm Jessica, and we're just your everyday Methodist to the madness. All right. How you guys doing? It's been a fun week. A lot of fun things are coming up this week.
Ooh, yeah.
So, Tim, I'm kind of excited, a little bit nervous to hear about how this past week has been, because a lot of new things potentially. What's going on?
So let's see. That I think the most important thing is I'm kind of doubling down on one of the things that I was referring to before, which is the practice of routines. I've realized the power in having routines, particularly in regards to my sleep. So way back when, well, maybe not really way back when, but like a month ago or something, or 2 months ago, I was always doing like a nightly routine. I basically, after I was done eating dinner, at some point, maybe I would wind down or something, but ultimately I would floss and I would put lotion on my hands and I would put chapstick on before I go to sleep. And that just leads to a significant sense of comfort before I go to sleep, and has radically improved my sleep quality then. And so because I'm trying to improve myself, I actually managed to practice it a few days ago, and I just slept so much better. Like I just had a lot more energy when I woke up, and I'm able to stick to the 5:30 a.m. Wake up time every day of the week, including the weekends. But it's a lot better when I have much higher sleep quality. So I'm just going to try to like do that with all the other routines that I have. Like just think, like anticipate how like good I'm going to feel if I can stick to like the actual like routine oriented mindset. Like getting ready for the day, for example, I can like, change into new clothes, brush my teeth, like do my morning routine stuff, like not too long after I wake up, instead of just like going on the computer and like, or going on my phone or something like that. To like have fun first thing in the morning. I'll have a lot more fun if I'm actually like ready for the day. So ready for the evening and ready for the day is like what I'm really going to try to practice. In other news, I had a pretty good week, I'd say. I worked on some chores, and I had a pretty good time at work. I'm managing my stress fairly well, and things are kind of winding down at my work. Because like people are going on vacation more likely, but with like Thanksgiving going on and then Christmas and so forth, I think people go as far as like take a whole week off, or even like the most daring folks will go like 2 weeks off or something like that. And I guess they must do some preparations beforehand. Either that, or they just like figure that everybody's going to be okay anyway, and they don't even really help prepare them. I'm not really sure. But besides that, I saw some movies over the weekend, and yesterday I saw The Holdovers, which was like this drama that basically had to do with Christmas, and it was just really fascinating, like character development, like the characters had really intriguing personalities. And then I saw The Marvels, where I just really couldn't comprehend every single part of the plot, but it was a really good action movie. And it's always nice watching those superheroes like fight and do like cool like tricks and stuff, like with their like superpowers and everything. And I also saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I did see on Netflix. And that's just one of my favorite CGI movies. So yeah, kind of like a little more lighthearted update, but I'm looking forward to the sermon feedback. This has been like one of the most significant sermons for me in a few weeks, I would say. It's just really like resonated with me. the content. But also, it's good that I'm doing a lighthearted update because Thanksgiving's coming up. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, sounds like an exciting time. And I'm so glad you were able to see that new Puss in Boots movie. I know it's been out for a little while, but I don't know why, but that one was like a little emotional. I don't know if you felt that way.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. I it was a tearjerker for me, like definitely. And like I don't think it's a spoiler to say like it's kind of a philosophical movie, honestly, like talking about like meaning in life and so forth and like what really matters. And I think it's like a really touching story. I think that anybody can relate to it, like it just kind of cherishing moments and cherishing like I don't want to spoil it. So
yeah. So if anybody has access to watch that, you should totally watch it because it's a good one.
I didn't intend on advertising that, like a sponsor is paying me or something like that. Just so everyone knows here in the audience.
Well, and hopefully, if you are listening to this right now, I hope if you have cats, I hope they're not listening because now they're going to add some little boots to your Amazon orders at this point. Who knows?
Yeah. Then you really have a Puss in Boots in your house.
I know.
Maybe people would just start putting boots on their cats, and it'd be a really interesting sight and very entertaining.
And then it would be boots and cats and boots and cats.
Maybe that could be a song.
I think that is.
It's like a techno song.
It is. It's a techno song. The boots and cats and boots and
cats. Is techno still a thing, or is everything EDM, or is techno a kind of EDM? I don't know what's happening.
Oh yeah, I think
form of dance music, I would say.
Yeah,
I think anything that you can like move your body and it's electronic music, you can call it EDM. Even though I think, like speaking as an EDM like fan here, I think this EDM that could be classified as pop is what people would typically think of as EDM. But yeah, I think all the electronic music that you can actually legitimately move your body to could be classified as EDM.
Yeah, so that's like the 11 o'clock service, Beth. That's pretty.
oh, wow, that's good to know. Maybe we should tune into the 11 o'clock service so we could listen to EDM.
It's music that you dance to, so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one other thing I wanted to mention, and so for maybe my next week, I want to be able to give an update on my reading, like reading books in general, because I was having a conversation with one of my coworker friends today, and we were talking about books, and I just felt so inspired by the conversation that I was having that I'm like, I think that instead of doing like other things, like maybe like going on my phone or the computer or playing video games or watching movies, maybe I could like spend more time reading books. And then I was also thinking, I don't know, this going above and beyond, maybe I could get back into chess, because I used to play that when I was younger. I was kind of still casual, not like super good at it or anything, but chess is like really good for your brain, and it's a pretty rewarding game. So yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll have to see how things are next week with you, Tim.
Yeah.
Back in.
Tune in next week.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be very nice.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and step in real quick, Beth, if that's okay. I've got a couple things I wanted to share. First off, a little bit of, I'm going to share a personal life update, and then I have another life update that I'd like to share. But first, I had an appointment on Sunday. It was my follow-up appointment regarding me having I was being tested for ADHD, basically. My mom joined the conversation this time so she could reference how I was as a child. You can only guess how nervous I was about what kind of questions this doctor was going to ask my mom, because I'm like, oh, where is this going to go? But the conversation ended, and she diagnosed me with combined ADHD, which is like, or ADHD combined. I don't know still learning. Don't know what it means, other than I'm super distracted and can be kind of impulsive when it comes to random things like rearranging furniture at 7 a.m. So I think it's been kind of like a minor like joke for a while, but now that it's real, it hits a little different because now I'm like, okay, so now what do I do with this?
Yep. That's the cool
and
thing.
so yeah, and so it's just it's a fun new next chapter, I think, for me, just like learning more about what this means and then follow-up appointments to kind of look at, different tools that can help me. That's kind of how a little bit of this past week has been, is preparing for that, but then also hearing about that is something new. But I don't really have any updates about my friend Melissa. She found out that her doctor's going to be out of town for the holidays, so she's got to wait another like 9 days. I did want to share real quick, and Beth, I hope it's okay if I can kind of speak to this unless you'd like to, but Beth kind of reached out to me and shared with me some things that I just really, I know this is maybe more so prayer requests, but I do want to mention it. In terms of an update, we received an update about Lucy, and we really appreciate everybody's prayers. And it's been shared with us that Lucy has stage 4 cancer. It's metastasized to her liver and her lungs. And so we just really want to hope for positive updates in the near future.
Yeah.
I wanted to share that because I wanted to slip in a little prayer request for Beth, if everybody can also pray for Beth as well, because this is just hits a little different.
Yeah.
But Beth, is there anything else that that you've kind of experienced this past week? Make sure that you're doing all right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this past week wasn't the best. I think right now I'm having what I'm now calling a be nice to yourself week, because receiving that news, obviously it was not what any of us wanted to hear. And so I've spent a lot of this past week just wondering why things happen the way that they do, but also at the same time trying to be still trying to look for those positives and looking for the things to be thankful for. And so I did write down stuff ahead of time, just because whenever we get on the podcast, I'm like, oh, I forgot everything. What I don't even know. Did I do anything? And so I wrote down some of the highlights of the past week. I did go to Lucy's house on Saturday for her daughter's 11th birthday party. I got a mug maker, and it's my favorite thing in the world now to just make mugs. And so if anybody needs a mug, just let me know, because I'm having so much fun making them. Anyway, I made a mug for Lucy's daughter that has pictures of, she's my dog soulmate, and she would be my dog if she didn't try to repeatedly murder our dog Jamie. She was in it it was a bad situation, but she's the sweetest dog in the whole world. And Lucy's daughter had to say goodbye to that dog twice, since we weren't sure what was going to happen with her. And anyway, she has a home now, and we're not worried about what's going to happen with Sammy. And so I made a mug with pictures of Sammy on it and gave it to Lucy's daughter for her birthday.
Aww.
And I was really afraid that it was going to make her cry, but it didn't, and it was good. And so while we were there, the friend that has Sammy asked Lucy's daughter if it would be okay if Sammy came over for a little while, and she was like, yeah. So her friend's, Lucy's friend's boyfriend brought the dog, and then I got to hang out with Sammy, and Audrey got to hang out with Sammy, and it was great. She's the on the subject of dogs, I mentioned in a room full of people who either have kids or have nannied or babysit for kids, I mentioned that I had not seen a single episode of Bluey, the cartoon about the blue heeler dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So then that was met with, how much time do you have? And so I basically watched a bunch of they're 9-minute episodes, and it was so funny, just the room full of people like, we got to show her this one first, and then this one next, and then like, no, we can't show her that one yet, we got to show her this one. Like, oh, okay. And so it's a delightful show. It'll make you laugh and it will make you cry, but it's like Ted Lasso is my comfort show, but it's not a show for children. There's a lot of like profanity and not adult themes, but like just heavier things of heavier nature. And I feel like Bluey is the Ted Lasso for children. And so I'm going to be watching more Bluey, and I'm really excited about it. And last night, we finally watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Jonah has been wanting us to watch that for a long time. And I thought I hated the Paul Blart movies, but I realized that if you just let go of all of the expectations and just like appreciate the movie for what it is, a really dumb movie about a guy who's a cop at a mall, like those are some funny movies. And say what you will about Kevin James, that guy commits to the part 1,000%. Last night I was watching it and laughing at the dumb stuff, groaning at the dumb stuff, but Owen was like, you gotta admit, like he really commits. And I was like, yeah, he does. He's all in that role. So I changed my mind about Paul Blart Mall Cop, and now it's delightful to me. That's all I have for an update.
I love that.
That's wonderful.
Anytime that we leave, sometimes we'll turn the TV on and we'll put Bluey on for our dogs so they have something to watch. So I'm glad that it's been Beth approved, that Bluey is like definitely a household name. It should be on the screens. So yeah, very exciting.
Oh, now I know what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beth, to go back a little bit, I wanted to say that it's so important to like be nice to yourself, or just show yourself like care and like love, and just like making it so you have things in your life that you appreciate, and so that you can feel good every day. And I guess I can relate to that a lot, because something else was, I figured out that something that can help me feel better in general every day is if I try to, I don't know, like have a mindset in which I'm going to do like positive things in my life, or just try to feel like I can have a good day every day. I know it's crazy though when you get like sad news and everything like that though. And so yeah, like in those moments for sure, like you want to like take that extra effort and like treat yourself as well as you can, and like try to have as much fun as you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means letting your dog lick your face longer than normal. You know?
No.
Exactly. Just let your dog, just climb on you, and start.
I don't know.
Anyone listening
here, and I forgot that was happening. I don't know what's happening. Am I a person? I don't even know. It's fine.
It's fine, Beth. Our dogs do that too. For anyone who's listening, Beth's dog was just licking her face, and it was awesome.
Oh, right.
Tim was being so kind and thoughtful,
So sorry, Tim.
And I'm just dying over here. I'm like, this is awesome.
and something else that happened with Beth before we started recording this podcast episode, someone just randomly gave her a sandwich, and we found out that sandwich had eggs in it. It was an egg sandwich, not like a turkey sandwich, but an egg sandwich.
Yeah. So
It was my husband. It wasn't like someone mysteriously brought me a sandwich and then
a hand came through the window.
yeah. It was
Basically, when you've made it big in the podcast world, when people just make you sandwiches left and right. That's basically where we're at this point. Like, excuse me, someone just made me a sandwich. I gotta go, guys. This kind of leads us a little bit into the next portion of things.
If you like egg sandwiches, you're going to love today's guest. Are those two things related? Not really, but I still think you'll love today's guest. So we're not highlighting a ministry per se, but if you ever wondered why I came out the way I did, you can ask my mom, who is here today, and then you'll listen to the things she says and you'll think, yep, that makes sense. So, hi, Mom. Why don't you tell us how you found your way to the Methodist Church?
How I found my way to your Methodist church?
My Methodist.
Well, first off, welcome, Grandma Deb. Is that okay if we can address you that way? I know earlier you mentioned call you Grandma, and I just want people to know that we're also talking to Deb as well. So we'll go with Grandma Deb.
Works for me.
I guess I forgot to mention that while I live here in California, my mom is joining us all the way from South Dakota.
Yeah.
Woo! What's the temperature there, Deb?
It's about, I think it's about 34 degrees right now. But we were in the high 50s, low 60s earlier today. So,
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, usually at that temperature, your nose hairs start to tickle. It's right before they freeze. If anyone knows what it's like to be in freezing temperatures, don't have wet hair. Don't put mascara on directly before you get outside. Protect your nose hairs at all costs. Pay for them.
We can just trim them so then we don't have to worry about them at all, right?
Well, you need nose hairs.
You do?
I don't know.
I didn't know that you did.
Well, speaking of knowing things and nosy things, we do want to know more about Methodist Church and your faith journey and all of that.
Right, I'm so sorry.
We want to know all about that, Grandma Deb.
I have a sign. I had Beth print out the sign that is on the door of Palmdale United Methodist Church, and it's a few short paragraphs. But do you mind if I read it?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. It says, "You are welcome here!" Exclamation point. You are welcome here at Palmdale United Methodist Church, whomever you are. In the United Methodist Church, we practice open doors, open hearts, open minds. You are welcome if you are single, married, or divorced, gay or straight, filthy rich or dirt poor. We welcome those who are crying newborns, skinny as a rail, or could afford to lose a few pounds. You are welcome here if you're just browsing, just woke up, or just got out of jail. We don't mind if you're wearing a tie or a t-shirt, skinny jeans or yoga pants, pumps or chucks. You are welcome with whatever faith background you have, from whatever tradition or no tradition at all. You are welcome here, no matter what your age, from our golden oldies to our adults who just haven't grown up quite yet, as well as to teenagers who are growing up too fast. We welcome soccer moms and football fanatic dads, starving artists and tree huggers, coffee guzzlers and teetotalers, traditionalists and progressives, vegans and junk food aficionados. You are welcome here whether you're in recovery or are still addicted. We welcome you if you're having problems or are down in the dumps or you don't like organized religion. We've been there too. We offer a special welcome to those who could use a prayer right now, had religion shoved down their throat as a kid, or are just here to please mom. You are welcome here if you are inked, pierced, or both. We welcome the flexible, inflexible, tolerant, intolerant, those who laughed at and those who gasped at this welcome. We hope that passersby, seekers, doubters, bleeding hearts, and you will feel right at home here.
That was it's interesting because that was actually one of the important things that I noticed about the Palmdale United Methodist Church when I went on their website and stuff before I started coming to this church regularly. That really stood out to me and really spoke volumes. And I really liked it when Pastor Jim read that during, I think it might have been last year for one of the holiday events. And yeah, it's just a phenomenal and such a welcoming message, basically.
Yeah.
I've never been to a church that was like that. And
wow,
hearing Pastor Jim and meeting him, it even made it more welcoming. He's such a good speaker, and he's a fun person. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
I hadn't been to church for long time, and during the pandemic, Beth invited me to join the scripture journaling that Pastor Jim hosts on Mondays and Tuesdays, and that's where I got really more involved and have been kind of going down a more studious path, trying to understand things that I didn't understand before, and that's where I'm at.
That's wonderful, Deb. I think that's so nice. And yeah, I think that is really powerful how welcomed we can feel at Palmdale UMC. And that's amazing that you're worshiping and with the church virtually like you are, and like you have that like level of commitment. So then it's kind of like a message for the audience that you could be virtual and get involved in our church. And so that's so cool that you noticed that about Palmdale UMC, where you didn't feel, or you feel so welcome.
She actually was able to do, during COVID, was able to do a couple Bible study classes with me.
Wow.
We both did huddle.
Yep.
And I think I was supposed to send out an email, but I never did, to check in with everybody. I'm not good at that, so I should not be in charge of that any longer. And I'm not, because it's been like 2 years, I think. Sorry, everybody in my huddle group that I...
Well, you're reaching out now, Beth. That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing. And sometimes she attends when we had shawl ministry. Now it's part of the quilting group. But a lot of the times when I would have my shawl ministry meetings, it would be one other person and my mom on Zoom.
Nice.
That is so nice. Oh, wow.
Sometimes she sends me the things that she's made, like the scarves for the preschoolers and the baby hats for the babies.
Or people with very small heads.
Or maybe you could use those with your pets, like dogs or cats.
Yeah,
possibly. The other thing that I wanted to mention, Deb, is how you mentioned about becoming more studious as you've continued in your faith. I think that this church really encourages that, like with Pastor Jim and Pastor John, their sermons, like just really like going into the scriptures, analyzing and like looking at the history and like what was traditionally done, and just like asking questions about it. And that's awesome that you're doing the scripture journaling too. That just like promotes like that full on studious like attitude and practice.
Yeah. And it's really inspiring to know that, Beth, you've invited your mom to be part of this and wrangled in Grandma Deb to all things PUMC. But it's inspiring because my mom lives in Iowa, which is not too far. And in terms of the virtual interwebs, it's even closer. So it kind of inspires me to potentially reach out to my mom for the next time that we've got, virtual small groups going on, like the next round of them, to see if maybe she'd want to join. And then it can be an easy excuse for me to see my mom once a week, You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
dive into scripture. So I think my mom mentioned she was in like 3 or 4 different Bible studies, and she was like, I think I might have signed up for too many, because it was like 4 days a week. She was.
I know that feeling of overbooking myself.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Yeah, I think that's when I realized, and I think when I realized, I mean Amber, my wife, when she realized I probably need to get tested for ADHD, because I had signed up, guys, at one point I had signed up to help with AV. I was in the choir. I was helping with Ignite, the youth worship. I was in the young adult leadership, or the young adult youth group worship team, and small group. And I also have a full-time job in a farm. And I guess I'm also married as well. So I think that's like tall tale. Hey, probably too much here. So I was like, Dawn, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to back out of a few things here so I can sleep at night.
So you can stay married to your wife.
Yeah, that's
on occasion. Yeah,
exactly. But one thing I do enjoy about the fact that you brought your mom on today, Beth, is that it really ties into what our sermon was this past Sunday. I don't know if you feel that way as well, but I do feel that way a little bit in terms of admonishing one another. But I do want to head into some sermon feedback. And I'm curious, Grandma Deb, are you able to join us for some sermon feedback and prayer requests tonight?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
I took copious notes on the sermon.
Oh,
wonderful.
wow.
Then maybe we need to start with you on some sermon
more than we
feedback.
did, probably.
Well, then I'm curious. So I'll kind of share a little bit about this past Sunday's sermon. So the third part of the Prayer Deconstructed series, Praying Always and in All Ways. And we covered 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 12 through 24. One key note, I'm really excited that we went through this because I am currently reading I've already finished reading 1 Thessalonians, so I was really excited that we could have a sermon.
That's very nice.
But Grandma Deb, I'm super eager to hear about your thoughts on this past Sunday's sermon.
Well, I really enjoyed it. Pastor Jim is such a good speaker, and I always enjoy his sermons. And I happen to be reading Robert Fulgham's books right now. And so his first part of his sermon was about the geek dancer. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I dance. Well, we dance as often as we can, but it kind of reminded me of us because we don't care what we look like. We have fun. And when he said that dancing could be a way of praying, it kind of all made sense to me. And I also thought his little thing about the Hopi Indians, that they believe there's not much difference between praying and dancing. Have a quiet heart and take part in all the dances. That I think that's just awesome, because what better way to show your exuberance for God and rejoice in Him by dancing. I mean, everybody wins. So
yeah,
I really enjoyed that part of the sermon. But the meat of the sermon was pray without ceasing, and I thought there were so many ways in his sermon that we can do that. We need to give extra grace to everyone, because not if, but when.
Yeah.
It's going to irritate you. So I really took that to heart as well. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad you brought up the dancing, because I thought that was really powerful. Just that illustration in general. And you just feel so much like energy in your spirit when you dance. And like those illustrations were really nice. Particularly the one that stuck out to me was that I think it was I don't know if you could call it a parable or story from one of the books that Pastor Jim quoted from, about how one of the rabbis, there were all these questions to the rabbi from his students, you could say. And at the moment that they thought that the rabbi was going to answer, the rabbi just brought them gradually into a state of dance, and that's just so cool. And and now all your questions are answered. I mean, it was just so powerful to me. I thought it was awesome. And I guess getting into the other part of my feedback would be, I really got such a strong connection with that idea of seeing everything as prayer, or basically acting with intentionality with regards to connecting with God. It's how is God directing my path towards something new or better, or something like something that I would pray about, just sort of acting in that way. That's just been really probably what has made me feel a lot better today and yesterday after I heard that sermon. I think I'm just going to remember that for the rest of my life, or something like I can live every day with prayer to God in my actions, and with the actual speaking to God, but just leading a prayerful, God-filled life, and where I feel the Holy Spirit or presence of God. So yeah, this is definitely one of my most, I would say it's one of my favorite sermons, but by a pretty significant amount.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pastor Jim is excited to hear that right now. So.
Thank you.
I was just glad that there was a shout out about line dancing, because
I know. I thought of you, Jessica.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mom, what you said reminded me of Jason Mraz lyrics. My mom is probably the only person who likes Jason Mraz as much as I do, and nobody in this house feels the same way about Jason Mraz as I do. So when my mom comes, we can just listen to Jason Mraz, and they're still complaining, but I put up with it because my mom is here. We're going to listen to Jason Mraz. So, and one of his songs that it's actually on the album that came out during the pandemic, which is called Look for the Good, but there's a song on that album called Make Love. And in one of the verses, he says, when I pray, I move my feet and I say, thank you for the sound. When I hear that beat, it brings me closer to who I am. And all I'm supposed to be right now is a giving man. And it goes on. But I think about that, just that particular set of lyrics all the time, especially when I'm listening to music and I'm it makes you want to dance. Yeah, all the time. And I loved what he said, and so it made me ask myself, what do I do to nurture my spirit and nurture my soul? And I know the things that I want to do when I feel well enough to do them, like both mentally, physically, emotionally, which is, take the dogs out for a walk, lose myself in some of my hobbies. But sometimes I don't have the brain space to do that. And so I was like, well, what do I do when I don't have the brain space to do that? And then I realized what I do is I find something to make me laugh. I think that laughter is what I do to nurture my spirit and nurture my soul, because when the pandemic hit and there was so much uncertainty, and with the news about Lucy, and still so much uncertainty. I can't watch sad things. I can't think about sad things. I want something to make me laugh. And I was listening to a lot of podcasts. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend was like one of the main things that helped me through the pandemic. And
Wow.
so yeah, just that's what I use to, like, last night. The show I'm watching right now is 6 Feet Under, and in every single episode, somebody dies. I love that show so much. Yeah,
I started watching that too.
it's
Because
so
it used
good.
to be, I think it used to be on HBO Max or something, and now it's on Netflix.
Yeah, and I've seen the whole series, and it's so good.
Wow.
But last night I was like, I can't watch this
Yeah.
right now. So
Oh yeah.
what I put on was Murder
Love Island.
with what?
Love Island. You just put on Love Island.
No, but I saw an advertisement come on my TV for that, and I was trying to get Owen to watch it with me. Neither one of us were ever going to watch it. But
I was totally kidding, by the way. It looks so weird, but anyway.
It was Love Island, though. Isn't that funny? Yeah. But yeah, Murderville with Will Arnett is like, I made my mom watch it with me. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it makes me laugh so hard. And yeah. And I think I forget in those moments that I can be thanking God for the laughter. And,
wow. I'm so glad you said that, Beth.
So I really appreciate Pastor Jim's sermon series also, and like ways that we are already praying that we don't realize, and I feel that way when I listen to music, and or even if I get worship songs stuck in my head and I'm singing the same line over and over and over again, and I'm like, I wonder if that's God's way of telling me I need to remember that song or whatever. But also in Jason Mraz songs, I don't think that he's a Methodist or anything, but I do think that he's spiritual, and he does mention God a lot in his songs, and
he contributes to the madness for sure.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I remember asking a friend one time, like, do you think Jason Mraz is religious? And she's like, no, probably not. And I was like, yeah, he's probably not saying I'm a Methodist. And just imagining Jason Mraz as being like, Jason Mraz, Methodist, inspired by Jesus to love. How you doing? Like, that's really amusing to me. I don't know why.
Sorry. Is that going to be your next mug? Is going to be Jason Mraz as a Methodist?
Maybe I'll like have him wearing one of our Ignite shirts or something.
I love it. Are you a Sandra Oh fan? Do you know who Sandra Oh is?
I love Sandra Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you seen on Hulu? It is rated R, so for those that are under the age of 18 or 17 or whatever you have to be, please cover your ears or take out your headphones. It's called Quiz Lady on Hulu. Have you seen it? It's with Aquafina. It's with Aquafina.
I love her too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was Sandra. Oh my gosh. So funny. It was completely unexpected because I had not seen any advertising for it. It just showed up on Hulu one day, and it's called Quiz Lady, and it's completely different than any character I've ever seen Sandra Oh play. Okay. And so I hope it makes you laugh, and maybe next week we can have like a little bit of a review. But anyways, just wanted to kind of continue encouraging you on that comedic path of joy.
Yeah. And
admonishing you, Beth. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful, Beth, that you shared that about laughter, because I think for the longest time I have thought that, but never really brought that into like my awareness, like conscious awareness, to where I'm kind of like setting some sort of path for myself to like laugh every day. I think that's so powerful and like so helpful, and laughter is actually really good for a person and it makes you happy. So it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
It is. And it's always fun when everyone's laughing and not just at you. So, always the best.
Well, if people laugh at me, then I try to laugh along with them. Like, oh yeah, there's something funny going on, and everyone is laughing. So maybe I think it might be a good idea for me to laugh as well. And I think that's actually been a blessing in my life, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Let's just hope you're not laughing while we're laughing at you, though, Tim.
No, that's the problem. That's what I would be doing.
My friend used to say, "I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing near you."
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I'd like to go ahead and head right into our...
Yeah. Jessica, did we have any church updates that we wanted to share?
No, we're good.
Okay.
No. We do. We do have a couple, and I was just excited for Grandma.
I think we were all really excited for Grandma Deb coming on. So.
Yeah. But we do have a couple things. We do. And first and foremost, we want to give a special shout out to Jeannie for listening to the podcast and updating, the upcoming women's party, the women's Christmas party, where we mentioned that not only was it a gift exchange and potluck plus fellowship, but we felt that the terminology, the verbiage should be updated to ladyship.
Yes.
That has been updated. We received information from a secret source, and all of that's been done. So the women's Christmas party is on Sunday, December 17th from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Again, there's no reference of an a.m. or p.m. for the 4:30. So that can be either. And that is at Jim and Jody White's house. So feel free, show up either time. Doesn't matter. And then just be mindful that on the 23rd and 24th of November, the office will be closed for Thanksgiving. So if you stop by the church or call, no one will be there, nor will they answer. On the 26th, it's going to be Stewardship Sunday. And then again on December 1st, I know I mentioned this last week, there's a Swing into Christmas jazz concert at 8 p.m. at the AV College, and none other than Dathan Deadman's going to be performing with them. So highly recommend getting tickets for that. I am very excited about it. And then December 3rd, Advent Messy Church Party from 5 to 7 p.m. Who knows what you could win? Maybe a new car?
Jessica?
Yes.
I'm going to interrupt you for a moment because I thought that Messy Church was going to be from 5 to 7, but the slides that they're showing and the time that's being announced is from 4 to 6. So to make it easier on what is already on the slides, I guess, we'll make it from 4 to 6.
Okay. So from 4-5 to 6-7 is Advent Messy Church Party. So show up at whatever time you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey,
but only in the PM hours. We will not be there in the AM.
Yeah. These are in evenings when the sun has already gone down, because the sun disappears by the time it's like 4:45 over here.
Right.
Next is December 14th, the senior Christmas luncheon. That's at 11:30 in the social hall. So just get your tummies ready, be hungry. And then on December 17th, like I said, and I'm repeating this because in this section of the coming soon in our bulletin, it does have reference to an AM or a PM for 4:30. And unfortunately, for those that were planning on meeting me at Pastor Jim and Jody's house at 4:30 in the morning, unfortunately, it is 4:30 p.m. Until 7 p.m. So the Women's Christmas Party, 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Pastor Jim and Jody's house. If you don't know where they're located, please be sure to contact the church. They can give you the proper address, or if you are on a text message basis with the senior pastor, feel free to shoot him a text, and then you can get that address. So those are the updates that I have for the church.
Thank you, Jessica.
You are absolutely welcome. This is hot off the press, let me tell you.
Yes, indeed. And now I'm thinking that I might question every activity, whether they're talking about AM or PM. Or really, I might actually have that enthusiasm to come at 4 o'clock in the morning to an event. So I'm glad you clarified that, Jessica. It's very nice.
Absolutely. Some say that's why they came up with the name of the truck stop AM PM, or the gas station, because they weren't sure what time they wanted to be open. So they said, I don't know, either in the morning or in the evening. So they said, let's just call ourselves AM PM.
That sounds accurate. And
wow.
It really is. It's completely accurate.
Yeah, that was a surprising shout out to AM PM. So for any Methodists at AM PM that are listening, they would be very appreciative of that message.
Absolutely.
It is. Nobody else.
Yes. Yes. Beth, do you have any additional prayer requests for this next week?
Let's see. I would like to try to make this week productive. So if you could pray for my productivity, that would be great. I already helped Jonah clean his room, and we cleaned all the cat litters. So I'm hoping we can continue this momentum and get some more stuff cleaned around here.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Got to get one of those litter robots, Beth.
Well, that we're actually going to get those for Christmas.
That's right.
Decided that.
Really?
I think that has been
really
shared before. Am I remembering that correctly? You mentioned that in a previous.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on air or behind the scenes, but yeah, it was mentioned somewhere that my kids are getting robot litter boxes for Christmas.
Very exciting. This is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Grandma Deb, what you got? Any prayer requests for us? Either short-term, long-term, mid-terms?
Final.
My stepdaughter just had surgery last week on her neck. They replaced and fused some vertebrae. This is her third surgery for this problem, and so we're hoping the first two failed, so we hope this one takes. And so maybe some prayers for her that her bone grows on the new thing they put in there, and that it all works out for her.
What's your stepdaughter's name?
Tara.
Tara?
Tara. Yep.
We will absolutely be praying for Tara on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Am I the last one?
No, I got something.
Yeah, let's hear it, Tim. I'm all about it.
I think that I could use a prayer for confidence in myself to rejoice every day. That was the other part of the sermon, or that scripture in the sermon that really resonated with me. And to be thankful every day too. Like between having more joy and then having gratitude, I think it will really help me and maybe give me that like encouragement to make like positive decisions for myself and take care of myself and everything. So yeah, I'm I guess one thing I wanted to mention, and I might have mentioned it, I might have wanted to mention it earlier, but we were talking about some other stuff, was that I'm just very thankful that we have the opportunity to connect with God at Palmdale UMC, and I'm really thankful for this podcast, and I just like am really appreciative of like a bunch of different things in my life. Like I have my job is stable, and I have a roof over my head, and things like that. So that's so just, yeah, like a prayer to continue like a gratitude cycle, and to just find joy every day, I'd say.
I like it.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll be praying for you on that, Tim. But I think I think my recommendation for you is to put on some good music when you wake up and just start dancing, man.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Wow.
You never know how your day will turn out, you know?
That's true.
I love dancing. So yeah, what could bring more joy than, and we were just talking about it too. That's awesome.
And then you'll find confidence in yourself with your dance moves, and then all of a sudden you're teaching people on Dancing with the Stars, and then it's like, where has Tim gone? He is a changed man.
Hey, Jessica, I'm really glad you said that maybe I could be a professional dancer, because I was thinking that maybe I could be a professional comedian, but I'm not sure if that would happen. So the dancing thing, you know what? I feel way more confident.
Well, I'd like to hear your stand-up at some point. So maybe we'll have to create a section of this podcast that's like Tim's 5 minutes of standing up. I don't know.
Standing up. Wait, Jessica, I'm sitting down while we're recording this podcast.
You need to stand up, Tim, because we are on air. This is live
from Beth's living room.
It's Monday night.
Live from Tim's bedroom. I'm not standing, but this is stand up.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What do you got, Jessica? Do you have any prayer requests?
That we can get through this podcast. That's all I'm thinking. But, I think just a continued thing, kind of what I mentioned last week, was just finding joy in the little things and really just appreciating, what I have, and trying to be, like immersing myself in whatever it is that I'm involved in. If I'm working on a project at work, really focusing in and immersing myself in that. If somebody's talking to me, like really being in that conversation so that I'm attentive, and if just, anything in general, just really making sure that I'm enjoying those little moments. And I guess based on the sermon, I need to keep on line dancing. So I think that's going to be something I might do maybe this weekend. Who knows?
That is awesome.
Like a YouTube video of some line dancing, and learn the church clap, and then share that on this next Sunday.
I can really relate. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say I could really relate to the immersion, but then I was also thinking, well, wait, can I really relate to the line dancing? Well, I like dancing. So, but yeah, going with the immersion though, I think that's really a helpful, like beneficial, and just overall like courageous thing to do, to like immerse yourself in the things, because there's just so many distractions in like the technological world that we live in, and when we can really spend that time like fully immersing ourselves in the activities that we're involved in, I think we experience more joy, and we'll probably have much better performance on pretty much everything that we do. So that's a great thing, and yeah, definitely prayer for you on that.
Thank you. Before we end today's podcast, I do want to mention that it's official. We have an email account that is live, up and running, and welcoming your questions and anything in general. Be nice. That's the key word, sentence, phrase.
Remember, inspired by Jesus to love.
Yes, inspired by Jesus to love. But
Yes.
something that we've been kind of chatting about offline is that we're interested in our listeners and in maybe where they're coming from, or if you have any questions for us, or maybe you just want to tell us that we're pretty, that's fine. But Beth, would you like to share what our email address is?
I would love to. To add to what Jessica was saying, though, you can even email us if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast.
Yes.
We're always looking for more guests.
Yeah, for sure. And
go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, yeah, you have something to share with the listeners, particularly like insight you might have on the sermon, something that you think about the church, like your experience of the church. But we just like to hear your testimony, plain and simple. If you'd like to share that, that would be really awesome. So that's something too. And you could always ask questions if you have any doubts. You want to be a guest, but you're not sure what you want to share. We could definitely lead you in the right direction. And also, we're looking for feedback on our podcast. Let us know what you liked and let us know what you didn't like as much, I guess. But yeah, inspired by Jesus to love. And we appreciate anything you want to send to us.
So you can't send it unless I tell you what the email address is. And it is, drum roll, please. Just kidding. We don't need that. It is Methodists to the Madness, no spaces, @gmail.com.
All right. It's out there.
Just so everyone knows, you do not type in no spaces after Methodist to the Madness.
That's true.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that.
If you have issues emailing us, why don't you just go ahead and give us a call at the church office? And
yeah, because we're there 24/7.
Yes.
365.
366 on leap year.
No, but if you have any questions, feel free to call the church office, and that number is
661-947-3103.
Yep. It's too bad that we retired our previous number, 867-5309, because that one really was easy to remember.
Was that the previous number?
Tim. No.
Tim, I want you to just Google that number, 867-5309. Just please Google that, and then next week report back.
Okay.
I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on this one.
On that note, thanks for being our guest, Mom.
Yes, Grandma Deb, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
We're all from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same, we're just your Methodist